Thanks for the opportunity to be able to address you. My name is Greg Baynton. I'm president of the Vancouver Island Construction Association and the BC Construction Association of Vancouver Island. I represent 450 members in the construction industry that are manufacturers, suppliers, trade contractors, and general contractors. Our association is one of 4 regional associations that make up a provincial association called the BC Construction Association, and who has 2,000 members province-wide. Our 450 members here on Vancouver Island represent 90% of the contractors who work in the industrial, institutional, and commercial sector of the industry. To be clear, they build roads, bridges, schools, colleges, universities, hospitals, theaters, and much more. They build communities. They built the one we live in. Our members employ up to 20,000 people who live and work on Vancouver Island. The construction industry was, and still is, the leading industry in terms of total employment, and it led economic growth through the last economic cycle. The construction industry consistently employs more people than mining, fishing, forestry, and agriculture combined. No industry can create jobs, sustain economic growth and activity, or generate the numerous benefits to the communities which it works in. This is why, in the wake of an economic meltdown in the fall of 2008, governments around the world implemented infrastructure stimulus initiatives. There's a saying, nothing happens until something is built. The construction industry is also recognized as a key performance indicator for economic and social economic vitality. When it comes to the economy, the construction industry is considered the canary in the mine shaft. The industry in BC and Vancouver Island is primarily made up of dynamic small to mid-sized contractors and some large. On Vancouver Island, it is these contractors who have built our community. They and their employees pay taxes in the communities they live and work in. They have a vested interest in the overall well-being of their community, and many of them support their community in many ways. Our industry, like many others, is confronted with an unprecedented skills gap and human resources challenge over the next 5 years as 20% of the workforce retires. During the span of this project, the BC construction industry will have 35,000 positions to fill, and 15 to 20% of those reside here on Vancouver Island. That's about 7,000 jobs. The domestic, local industry must have access to construction opportunities to address this formidable challenge and to maintain its vitality and capacity in the future. Every opportunity to develop a skilled workforce is essential to the sustainability of the industry and the communities that they live and work in. You may be thinking that's a bit melodramatic, but I challenge you to reverse the thought process and consider the very basis of infrastructure stimulus. It was intended to create jobs in local communities, have a positive impact on local business and those communities, full stop. The CRD is considering how to procure, amongst other things, the largest capital project on Vancouver Island's history. If the domestic and local construction community is excluded from the opportunity to participate because of the size of the projects, the contracts, the method of procurement, it will have a long-term detrimental impact on the industry and the people who have traditionally worked in it, and live on Vancouver Island. Some of the procurement options, design build, design bid, finance operate, P3 procurement options, that exclude the majority of the domestic and local market because of their size and scope, complexity, and participation costs. Furthermore, in the absence of considerable rigor and oversight, it is very challenging to maintain a fair, open, and transparent procurement process for the construction phase. Fundamentally, these processes drive strategic corporate alliances where security and confidentiality is inherent and proprietary rights and access through the Freedom of Information Act is not an option.
You have 1 minute.
Thank you. These conglomerates participate and come to communities like ours for one reason and one reason alone. That's profit. They do not have a vested interest in the community, and despite any claims to the contrary, they use the local industry to obtain a foothold in a local marketplace, mobilize their own crews, and then they raid the local businesses for their manpower and completely destabilize the local market. Regardless of the procurement method utilized, the local and domestic construction industry must be able to access and participate in the process. To be clear, we are not asking for special consideration or preference. We're simply demanding the opportunity to participate in the largest capital project ever considered in the capital region and to be part of a fair, open, and transparent process. The industry and the people who work in it and community deserve not to be excluded. Thank you.
Thank you.